Amber-ridged spines pulsed along Drake Morven's copper arms in the dark. He stared at the green numbers on the main screen. They promised absolute certainty. Out in the black, the human ship sat in dead silence. It was too still. No thruster bleed, no panic maneuvers. It just drifted like a piece of dead scrap. Drake raised his hand. He pointed at the primary display. He gave the order to advance. His massive fleet crossed the 400-meter threshold. The green numbers vanished. A solid wall of red data took their place. No warning, no negotiation, no mercy. The trap was built right in front of them, using their own rules. Stay here. You'll want to see how it snapped shut. 24 hours earlier, the Dominion asked for the knife. Sovereign Drake Morven stood in the center of the tribunal spire. The air smelled of ionized metal and ozone. 400 delegates watched from the rising tiers. Drake demanded a deep scan of the human border vessel. He cited Article 7 of the Annexation Protocol. His harmonic voice rattled the obsidian walls. He listed 3 recent conquests. He pointed out the flawless record of their scanning technology. He expected a protest. He wanted a fight. A refusal would give him the legal right to burn their border outposts. He waited for the human delegation to object. He wanted them to claim sovereignty. Ambassador Tesha Oduya sat in the lowest tier. She adjusted her wire-rimmed glasses. She opened her briefing folder. She read the single page inside. She did not argue. She did not stall. She stood up and tapped her microphone. "We accept the terms," Oduya said. She sat back down. She closed her folder. She offered no conditions. She asked for no timeline. Drake took her quick agreement for fear. He took her silence for surrender. He logged the compliance into the official record. He turned to his generals. He authorized his fleet to move to the border. He was wrong. Captain Mara Thorne stood on the bridge of the human ship. The deck smelled like copper and old paper. She wore a scuffed leather jacket over her uniform. Her left hand rested on the main console. She was missing her pinky finger. A screen flashed with the tribunal order. The Dominion demanded full access to their internal systems. They wanted to strip the ship bare with their sensors. Mara set her dented steel thermos on the console ring. The dent caught the bridge light like a question mark. She tapped the comms panel. She opened a ship-wide channel. "They are coming," Mara said. "Hold your posts. Do not return fire until I give the word." She closed the channel. She looked at the main view screen. "Open the array," Mara said. "Let them look." Commander Eli Vance stood at the tactical station. He pulled up a picture of his daughter on his side screen. He traced the edge of the frame with his thumb. Then he flipped 3 heavy switches. Below the deck, the gyre field powered up. It had taken hundreds of engineers 11 years to build. It made no sound. It gave off no heat. It simply wrapped the ship in a lie. It caught the enemy signals, swallowed them, and spit back a completely fabricated truth. The main power grid intentionally flatlined. The lights on the bridge flickered and died. Emergency bulbs kicked on. Light years away, Lens Commander Saris sat at the Dominion scanner controls. He locked the scanner array. The numbers froze. He initiated the first deep scan. It hit the human ship. It bounced back. It took exactly 0.3 seconds. The return data flooded his screen. 14 columns of bright green text filled the display. Saris read the results out loud to the war room. "Category 3 vessel," Saris said. "Carbonally hull, 2 projectile batteries, 12 crew members, negligible threat." Drake stepped up to the console. He looked at the Category 3 rating and smiled. He ordered a thermal sweep. He wanted to check for hidden drives. Saris punched the keys. The thermal sweep returned cold. The human ship barely registered above background radiation. Drake ordered a bioscan. The machine confirmed 12 heartbeats. He ordered a structural ping to test armor density. The ping reported thin plating. It bounced off a single hull layer. Saris saw a slight anomaly in the power curve. He frowned. He tapped the screen. He ran a secondary diagnostic. The machine deleted the anomaly. It corrected the curve to green. He ignored his instinct. He transmitted the final file to the flagship. He trusted the machine completely. The machine had guided his people for 7,000 years. It had never failed. It was their religion. Drake stood in the war room of the flagship. He read the consolidated report. A Category 3 ship was nothing. His own vessel held 14,000 troops. It was armed with weapons that could crack a continent. "The destruction is guaranteed," Drake said. He ordered the vanguard forward. 412 ships engaged their drives. They crossed the border line in tight formation. They did not try to hide. They broadcast their approach on all open channels. They wanted the humans to see them coming. They wanted to force a surrender before firing a shot. The human ship did not move. It held its position near a dead moon. It sent no distress signal. It launched no escape pods. Drake frowned. He authorized Phase 1 of the attack. He ordered the front line to fire warning shots. Torpedoes launched from the Dominion vanguard. They streaked across the dark. They struck the human ship's hull. The bridge rang like a struck bell. Sparks rained down from the overhead vents. A secondary console blew out. Smoke filled the port side of the room. A loose panel hit the deck with a loud clang. Petty Officer Nia Kowalski grabbed her fire extinguisher. She put out the flames. She locked her harness. She wiped soot from her forehead. "Captain," Kowalski said, "they are closing fast. Shields are holding at 20%. Hull integrity is dropping. We are taking real damage." Mara did not blink. She watched the distance counter drop on the main screen. 2,000 meters, 1,800, 600. Vance looked back at her. His hand hovered over the release lever. He waited for the command. "Hold," Mara said. She touched the cold steel of her thermos. She waited. The Dominion fleet pushed closer. 500 meters, 450. The Dominion fleet reached the 400-meter mark, the engagement threshold, the point of no return. Mara nodded. She set the dented thermos gently on the console ring. Vance killed the gyre field. It took 0.3 seconds for the illusion to fall. It was the exact same window the Dominion used to define absolute truth. The Category 3 rating vanished from the enemy screens. A Category 12 shield grid flared to life around the human ship. It glowed bright blue against the dark. The hull plates shifted and slid apart. 3,000 autonomous drones poured out of the hidden launch bays. They flooded the space between the ships like a swarm of angry metal locusts. They locked onto the Dominion escorts. The drones did not wait. They swarmed the nearest cruisers. They tore through point defense grids in seconds. They ripped apart engine blocks and weapons arrays. On the Dominion flagship, Saris watched his 14 green columns turn violent red. The system screamed a collision warning. The threat level spiked off the chart. The machine registered massive power surges. Saris opened his mouth. His harmonic voice cracked. He did not have time to warn anyone. He slammed his fist onto the emergency abort button. It did nothing. The human ship charged its spinal rail. The internal gravity shuddered. The deck vibrated under Mara's boots. The human ship fired. It shot a solid stream of white-hot iron at light speed. It punched through the flagship's forward shields. The kinetic force shattered the primary deflectors. It tore through the heavy armor. It hit the main reactor dead center. Drake Morvan saw the flash. He tried to issue a counterorder. The comms panel melted in his hands. His last thought was not of his long life or his vast conquests. It was of the green numbers. The numbers were perfect. The numbers were the trap. The flagship shattered. 3 kilometers of metal tore apart in 14 different directions. The shockwave knocked the closest escorts out of formation. Debris shredded their unshielded flanks. Half the vanguard burned in the first 10 seconds. The rest scattered in blind panic. They broke formation and fled toward deep space. The human ship did not fire again. One shot was enough. Mara picked up her thermos. The tea inside was cold. She keyed the open channel. She spoke to the fleeing ships. She spoke to the tribunal listening back home. Your instruments lied. 14 minutes of static followed. The tribunal did not answer. The surviving fleet ran. Only the scrape of debris against the hull broke the quiet. The drones returned to their bays. The blue shields hummed in the dark. Far away in the tribunal gallery, Elder Mavas watched the playback. The frail alien had seen empires fall before. He watched Mara drink cold tea while a fleet burned. He understood. The humans had not been compliant. They had been waiting. They had used the Dominion's arrogance against them. Mavas walked down the obsidian steps. He found Ambassador Oduya sitting alone in the gallery. She was still reading her file. You knew, Mavas said. We did not hide, Oduya said. We waited until you asked the wrong question. The Dominion archivists deleted the sensor logs. They stamped a black seal over the border maps. They locked the sector grid and left the room. The thermos sat on the console. The dent still caught the light. Now it looked like a period. A single unbroken ship drifted in a field of broken metal.